Hey, Stephen, as we've discussed, just about 80 to 85% of the elite players are off the board, having signed in that early signing period in December, but that still leaves a host of extremely talented players that could tip some recruiting classes one way or the other. Three players in particular, skill position players on both sides of the ball, a target of Nick Saban right now as we are just about 4 days away from National Signing Day.
If you look at the receiving class, Mark, therein lies Jaylen Waddle at receiver, Justyn Ross at receiver, and also Jacob Copeland, who plays some receiver and defensive back, a very electrifying athlete. Now, Justyn Ross did take an official visit to Auburn University today. Auburn, Clemson, and Alabama all on Justyn Ross, the five-star, an individual that comes from Phoenix City, Alabama. He's got great size, strong hands, tremendous speed as a route runner, and has a solid connection with Michael Locksley, Alabama offensive coordinator, who was promoted to that spot in the offseason. Will be very interesting to see how will Ross play it out down the stretch, but he is a target on Alabama's board, along with Jaylen Waddle and Jacob Copeland. Where Copeland comes in is very interesting because he and Jeremy Pruitt have a tight-knit relationship. Jeremy Pruitt, who's right now with the Tennessee Volunteers, Copeland has talked about from time to time how much he likes Pruitt, he appreciates Pruitt, he values Pruitt. And you and I both know, Mark, I understand a lot of these guys, when you commit to the school, not necessarily the coach. But in this day and age of players where you have the influx of social media, among other things, a lot of these young athletes, they want somebody that can speak their language. They want somebody that they can connect with, that they can really build something with on the same level as the particular athlete in question. And for Jacob Copeland, he's found that coach in Jeremy Pruitt. J.J. Peterson, who was a five-star linebacker from Colquitt County High School in Georgia, kind of the same deal. He was a silent Alabama commitment for a while, and then Jeremy Pruitt bolts for Tennessee, and J.J. Peterson takes an Alabama commitment and goes straight to Rocky Top with that. That could be in the same play for Jacob Copeland, seeing how he and Pruitt have that same relationship. Defensively for the Crimson Tide, it's still in the secondary for right now with Patrick Surtain and Tyson Campbell, Isaac Taylor Stewart. So many big name play, but Patrick Surtain and Tyson Campbell are the two that Alabama really wants to hammer home. They would like to get one more to make sure they fill in the six names in the secondary that they're losing to the NFL. Already signed Josh Jobe, Jalen Armour-Davis, and Savion Smith. So Alabama once again trying to get three more corners or three more defensive backs to make it an even six.
Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama joining us to break down the Tide as we are less than 4 days away from National Signing Day on that first Wednesday of February. You can join Stephen on his show Monday through Friday, The Way It Is, Fox at 97.9. Justyn Ross, I'll try not to repeat any information that you've got, Stephen, that you shared with us, but 247 has him as the number 15 rated wide receiver in the nation, the composite, the seventh best receiver in high school football, and number 11 according to ESPN. They all have him in the top 100 players in the nation. Actually, the composite loves him. Top 45 player, regardless of position, is Justyn Ross. Official visits just very recently within the last few weeks, as you mentioned, at Alabama, also Auburn and Clemson, and 2017. Don't know the style of offense, don't know what the issue was, possibly a quarterback, only caught 20 passes, 4 touchdowns, 364 yards, but the scouts love Justyn Ross. The 24/7 prediction leans Clemson at this point at 58%. Jaylen Waddle, a guy that I've also looked at who is rated anywhere between the 5th best wide receiver on the composite down to number 12 according to ESPN. Again, we're talking elite talent here. Number 39 player in the nation, regardless of position, according to the 247 composite. In addition to Bama, he's taken official visits to Florida State, TCU, Oregon, Texas A&M as well. Of course, he hails, as you mentioned, out of Episcopal High School out of Bel Air, Texas. A pretty slight kid at 5'10", 169. Those are the latest measurements. Of course, they'll bulk him up, but boy, he hit on some huge plays this past season. 48 receptions, 26 touchdowns, 1,300 yards receiving. Texas A&M, a bit of a lean. The last I checked, 247 Sports' prediction. What's interesting is we talked about at length the last time we got together, Stephen, was the corner combination there at with Jacob Copeland and also Patrick Surtain. It looks like Surtain's going to head to LSU, and so he'll be lining up against Nick Saban and the rest of the crew there at Alabama. You'll have to deal with him for probably 3 years, maybe 4. Jacob Copeland, I've heard back from a lot of Miami fans who believe that they've got him wrestled away from Georgia, who's been taking a late run at the number 2 cornerback in the nation. Jacob Copeland and Patrick Surtain both playing there at American Heritage High School in Southern Florida.